IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Made in India, hosted by May Thomas, where she brings exclusive acoustic sessions and interviews with the best independent musicians in India.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome guys, it's a new episode of the TFG Indian Football Podcast and I'm finally in the studio after a very long time. I made it finally.
Not in the studio, Suju, we are not.
Yes, I mean, that always happens, which is, I think, for that part, the listeners are used to that, only one person in the studio, the others are wherever wandering. But nonetheless, we get you the show. I think that's what the most important thing is. And I have, just exactly, you heard Chiranjit speak and also you heard Kevin laugh. We both are, all three of us have joined together and today we bring you some exciting show because we have a lot of matches on the, during the weekend, but just like I mentioned every Friday and Monday that due to time constraints we might not be able to look at every game in detail. There are a total of 7 matches, including reviewing of last night match and also updates from MPL. So we're going to cut it short, but don't worry, we'll talk about some interesting games in detail. But before all of that, let's talk about last night's match. I mean, towards the end of the game is where, I think post 60th minute is where the things got interesting between the game of Chennaiyin FC and ATK. There were 5 goals scored, 3-2 was the scoreline, and goals were being scored like, how you play on a video game where you just sneak it in and then your opponent puts the other ball in. It was a crazy game towards the end of the match, which we thought would end goalless draw, just like Kevin predicts about every ISL match, but did not happen. JJ finally got himself on the scoreline and he didn't get 1 goal, but he got a brace. Chiranjit, I start with you. What a game, right?
Excellent game, and you're saying that the last 30 minutes the shit hit the fan, but I was thoroughly on the edge of my seat throughout this game. You could see, sometimes you see a drab game in ISL. That's particularly because at least one team does not mind a draw. And the intent sort of flows through in the game the way it's played. Here, Chennaiyin FC wanted a win. They wanted to carry on with that winning streak and wanted to get the grip on the top of the table. And ATK desperately wanted to make a comeback and get a win. And it was a good matchup as well. Both teams had good attacks. With ATK, I think they were playing with a proper flow for the first time, and it was back and forth from the very get-go. It was Chennaiyin FC using some set pieces, ATK also trying to move up the middle and try to get some things done. The first half was goalless, but I already knew we're going to have goals. There's no way this goes on for 90 minutes because the defenders were all getting so by the attacks of the both teams. Then set piece goal, first one that JJ Lalakua got, it was headed onto the post and it came back and JJ was perfectly positioned. Bit of a Robin Singh reference there. But it speaks to JJ's sense of positioning. And then ATK got back immediately, like Zecunia. Beautiful setup by others, the way they assisted him. That was also a really good team goal. Then Calderon got that goal with Lalrinzuala. And that's when you saw ATK play the best football they have all season so far. And they just went out and there was Robbie Keane on the pitch. He was doing some really sneaky stuff. I don't think he's at 90-minute fitness yet, but he with the experience he has, he was using himself so well, set Cookie up, got the goal in, and that's where I think the ATK defenders sort of let go because it was 89 minutes into the game. They thought, this is over. And there was some problem marking JJ. Second goal that he got, he had at least 3 feet empty space on both of his sides, and he made that finish. So I think this is a lesson for ATK defense. Even if there's 1 minute left, you don't let go, because you have a good attacking side like Chennaiyin FC. They're gonna just go back and get you on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kevin, coming to you, we saw Robbie Keane in action. Your thoughts on the match and his game time? I mean, though it was a very short time that he came in for.
Yeah, Robbie Keane he made his debut, and the way he was warming up in the second half, we knew he was coming on. And I think yesterday's performance of ATK was one of the best that they've given so far, excluding the misses at Kerala Blasters. I think this was a good performance from all sides. Zekinia, Kuchi, these guys were actually doubling the defense of Chennaiyin FC right from the beginning. Yeah. Although did not have the goals to show for, but as Chiranjeev said, it was showing that there are goals in this game. Although the half ended goalless. Robbie Keane, after coming on, there was a claim for handball. I think there will be a reference of that in the post-match conference. But I'm not sure if it was, should have been a great claim for handball. But yes, when you lose a match, you tend to pick out all the incidents. But Chennaiyin FC, so the way the first goal came for Chennaiyin, I think ATK will be just kicking themselves, because they had two players who went in to head the same ball from Chennaiyin FC, and nobody was marking them. Yeah. And even after the rebound, I think JJ scored one of the easiest goals in his career, just standing there and tapping it, just heading it, nodding it in. And I think from the same position, he gets his second goal as well. I think almost the same position. Yeah. And see, that really highlights the defending of ATK. Although their attack, their offense was very good yesterday. They did lack something at the back. But this is a good sign for both teams. ATK has got 2 goals from the strikers. Chennai has got 2 goals from the strikers, and ATK also coming back into the groove now. This is great for both teams, although the result is only favoring one side. Yeah. But a lot of positives for both teams.
Yeah, I think finally ISL is picking up pace, and we are finally getting to see those better teams who have better players, or are trying to finally click and get the rhythm going. So I think it's good times ahead is all we can say for football. But now moving on to MPL, coming to you, Chiranjeev. It's the finale today, and we have Aizawl playing an old rival, also the current champions. Am I right?
Last time I think Chennaiyin FC won it. Okay. But it's Chhinga Veng have picked up a lot of good local players this season. Mm-hmm. They won the Independence Day football tournament. They won the MFA Super Cup. This is their third trophy attempt, and they do look good. They look very what do you call it? They look some ferocious. Although ever since Aizawl FC added some experienced foreigners like Masi Saigani, they have been looking a little bit better. That's partly responsible for their resurgence. They started not so good in the MPL, and they just recovered and finished second after I think Chhinga Veng. So this is a showdown that the Mizoram football fans have been waiting for all season, and you're gonna see the national champions versus the current local Dadas going up against each other. It's tonight. It's Friday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Lamual. I think Zone 8's Facebook page will stream it live, hopefully. So wherever you are, you can catch the live stream, which is great. I think they're doing it for the first time for MPL. I'm enjoying this. MPL is played on a smaller pitch. The game is more cagey. There's way more emphasis on short passes. So it's probably one of the most entertaining leagues in the country. So I can't wait to see the final tonight.
Absolutely. All of that, a lot of good footballing action, even including that now. Like I said, we are looking at 4 games, 2 from I-League, 2 from ISL. We are focusing on a major, talking a little more about them. But not to worry, the others we will mention the scorelines at least. Now, tonight, Northeast play Bengaluru FC. a good game in hands, and Northeast must be, ahead with boosted confidence must be boosted with their 2-0 victory over Delhi Dynamos. While meanwhile on the other side, Bengaluru FC are without the services of Gurpreet Singh for tonight's match. Now I start with Kevin. Kevin, Bengaluru FC traveling to Guwahati, and we've always seen any team going to the Northeast do have a little bit of trouble playing there. How do you see this game going about without the service of Gurpreet, and meanwhile Northeast are coming on with a win?
Yeah, it more matter of positions there on goal now, because I think the defense is very much capable and competent to handle any kind of pressure. And playing three defense is obviously a sign of BFC's strength of being fearless. And even in the last game, although they lost, I think it would have been a much different game had that red card not been shown. But it's not easy to play against BFC anywhere in India, and especially when they have managed to score 3 goals even after being man down. I think it is commendable, and Northeast is just going to be trying to get in that one chance or one opportunity which they get early on in the game to convert it into a goal, and then have the remaining time at least play in the opposition half rather than keeping the ball. Because we know that with the likes of Khabra and Lenny in the midfield, it's difficult to keep the ball position because they are high pressing midfielders, and there's some strong challenges that are coming. Kumar will be there, obviously. Miku, watch out for him. He's showing some class, and one of the CJ favorites too.
Yeah, absolutely. Chiranjeev, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, well, I don't really think Northeast United have that kind of reputation as of now. The point you mentioned that teams that go to Northeastern region have trouble, getting good results. That reputation stems from Shillong, Lajong and Aizawl FC giving a hard time to the bigwigs at their own home ground. And part of the reason is that Shillong and Aizawl are at a very high altitude, which players who come from other regions take time to adjust to. So their breathing pattern becomes very different. So they have trouble performing at 100%. Guwahati is not such a place. It doesn't have any special altitude. It's a bit of hot, humid area compared to the rest of the northeastern region. So, in that way, there's nothing out of the world that's going on here. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for Bengaluru FC because they are playing with probably either Abramandal or Ralte at the back. Who knows what they're gonna come up with in the end. It's just a psychological disadvantage not to have Gurpreet around, because you have seen the way he played against Istiklal. Just diffuse so much of the attack by himself. The defenders can just have 60-70% more confidence that even if we screw it up, there's somebody behind our back who's going to take care of it. So other than that, I don't know what else is lacking for Bengaluru FC. Their attack is the same. Midfield is the same. Their defenders are the same. They should go in there and play with the same intensity. And they are facing a Northeast United have won the last game against Delhi Dynamos, but then again, Delhi Dynamos they are probably going through their worst phase ever with 3 back-to-back defeats. You beat Northeastern, you beat Delhi Dynamos when they're down. Doesn't really, immediately establish you as one of the leading attacks. So this is going to be a test for Northeast United. Can they produce the same kind of intensity against a team like Bengaluru FC, which, despite not having their star goalkeeper, is still, probably the most formidable side in ISL right now.
Okay. Now, do we see goals in this match? Definitely, right?
Yeah. Goals will be there, obviously. And, if Northeast are able to score 2 goals in this game, I think it will be a big statement, although they might even go and lose the match. But if they're able to score 2 goals against this side, that's one of the best attacking sides and one well-balanced side, it's going to be a big statement for Northeast. But easy win for Bengaluru. But if they go in defensive, so there's some possibility that they can get in there one goal and probably end up on the winning side.
Okay. Chiranjeev?
I think it's going to be a 3-1 win for Bengaluru FC. That's how I'm seeing it, because Bengaluru FC have never really had any trouble producing goals. And they can just adjust their defense to have that much more intensity to take care of the Northeast United challenge.
Okay. Now the other ISL match that we are looking at in detail is between Mumbai and Chennaiyin, which will take place on the 10th of December. That's Sunday. It's Mumbai's second home match, and they look a little struggling at the moment with just one win. The others were one, I think 2 they lost, and the other 2 was a draw. So it's a little bit tough situation when they are playing against Chennaiyin, who has won back-to-back and are looking strong, and finally even their sniper is on point, aiming. So it looks really a little difficult job for Mumbai. But Chiranjeev, starting with you, can Mumbai maintain that good record at home?
I don't know. This is tough. Chennaiyin FC would be at the top of the world because let's say the win they got against Pune, that was a little bit scrappy. That went a bit close, but and they played against Goa. They lost 3-2. But what was common in all those games was that Chennaiyin FC were fighting till the 90th minute, and they were producing results.
Yeah.
Right. They were getting late goals no matter what. Even the win against Northeast United, which kicked off their winning streak. Now they're on 3 wins. So what they are seeing from their own game is that if they keep getting stuck in, they produce results, and it doesn't matter how late into the game they are. So they are at the peak of their confidence. They're at the top of the table, and they will come in and approach this game with a very with the mindset of a killer. They will be methodical. They will not be under pressure, and they will try to produce another winning result. Mumbai City, meanwhile, have not won a game since their second game, I think. 1 loss, 1 draw since then. And I don't really think that the home support really adds that kind of an extra fervor to their game so far. I haven't seen any instance of happening. They beat Goa at home, which was a good performance. Goa, I think, could have easily walked away with a point. They got unlucky. So it's an established side which has proven that it can be dominant, and a side that is still trying to find its feet. So it's going to be a bit of a tough night for Mumbai City.
Kevin, Chennai are the favourites here, right?
Chennai are playing almost the third game in about 8 or 9 days, and Mumbai are well rested. They've not played in this week. So I think there's an upper hand for Mumbai City there because the way Chennaiyin FC got their first break, and the win that they got against Pune, I think that was the result of a good rest that they got. So it's the same for Mumbai City, who are coming in after a long break. I think it's going to be an easy win for Mumbai City. But considering that they've got Chennaiyin FC, they've got some good points on the board. They will try to go easy on Mumbai City. Try to get in that, not going all aggressive. Play more midfield, trying to just contain the attack of Mumbai City. So for me, it's more advantage position for Mumbai City rather than Chennai.
Okay.
Chennai have did well in the last 3 games. I think they can just go easy on this one.
Okay. Now, any goal line, any goals, prediction on the goals for you in this game?
I don't see too many goals, especially from Chennai. But Mumbai City should be able to score a couple.
Okay.
Maybe a 2-0.
Okay.
I think a 1-0 win for Chennai City. Sorry, Chennaiyin FC.
Okay, come on. You guys need to buck up and stop making those mistakes. It's high time. Now let's take a slip into a short break. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have two I-League matches to look at, and then we'll give you the scorelines for the other remaining games as well. All of that on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Welcome back, guys, and here we are. We have two exciting I-League matches that we're going to talk about in detail. First of all, these two new teams that are playing in the top division league for the very first time are going to be against each other for the very first time, and it's going to be interesting to see because we've seen both the teams show some fight, though one has had a loss and a draw, while the other has had, not a very good start. It was a defeat, but they showed really good fight. Now, talking about Gokulam FC versus Neroka, we start with Kevin. Interesting match ahead, right?
Yeah, this is the second most interesting game of the weekend, and obviously first is Shillong versus Kings East Bengal versus Shillong. So Gokulam FC and Neroka, they've got some good potential, but easily on paper, I think Gokulam is a bit heavier considering the potential, because I think they've got some experienced players who know the conditions well, and there's a slight dependency of foreigners from Neroka, because I think the foreigners in Gokulam FC will be the ones who will be missed tonight. Is it tomorrow or is it on Sunday?
It's
tomorrow.
Gokulam match tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm not sure if the foreigners who were subbed off in the last game will be available, and that will be a big blow if they are not. But it's a good side, Gokulam FC. The way they started their first game, I think they had more balance than the Neroka team. Neroka wanted to go all out and left the door open at the back, and they let him goals to come in. But Gokulam FC, considering Sushant Matthew at the back, I think he's holding the team very well. So it's going to be good. It's a good fight between two good strong teams, but slight edge to Gokulam Kerala FC.
Okay, Chiranjeev?
Yeah, Gokulam are playing at their home. They will be well prepared. But Neroka, you have to remember that this Neroka squad has a lot of players that they brought over from the second division winning side. So they have much more time that they've spent with each other as a squad, as a unit than Gokulam Kerala FC. So, yeah, the last game was pretty good for Gokulam and they got that draw against Chennai City. I think, though, Neroka can be a much more intense team than Chennai City. Can really put a really, intense fight against Gokulam Kerala FC. Here, though, one of the main factors may end up being the weather. They're playing at 2 p.m. On Saturday. Yeah. 2 p.m. in Calicut is very humid.
Yeah, it's a
very
bad idea.
humid, very hot. It's not it doesn't matter if it's in the winter. It's a bad idea.
I don't think there is winter at that part. I don't think winter is there yet.
Yeah, so it's majorly disadvantages to Neroka. They have traveled to Kerala early on to get used to it. But if you're from a colder place and you are going to a warmer place, you never really in a warm. If you're playing in a colder place, you just pace yourself. You run around a bit. You get your blood flowing, and suddenly you sort of somewhat acclimatized. But if you're coming from a colder place, you're going to a warmer place, doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Your energy gets sapped. That's why even in the under-17 World Cup, players had to get 2 drinks breaks within the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the way the climate is. So, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge for Neroka in that way. But I think they will run. They will have they have a couple of experienced players who will put up a good challenge against Gokulam FC. In terms of just pure footballing merit, I see Neroka having a slight upper edge. They might just sneak in a goal and win.
Okay.
So I don't know what wild card factor the weather and everything else will play here.
Okay, so are you hinting a 1-0 win to Neroka here?
I'll just go with that. I'll just have some faith on the professionalism of the players. Yeah.
Okay, Kevin. So, what are your predictions on the score for the score between the game, Gokulam versus Neroka?
I think Gokulam Kerala is going to take this, but it's going to be tight. It's not going to be as easy as we think it might be. So 1-1 is what I have in the head now.
Okay. Interesting. One is giving Neroka an upper hand, the other Gokulam. We have to all wait and watch how this 2 p.m. kickoff is going to be like between these two teams. Now moving on, the other I-League match, which Kevin has already mentioned earlier, saying that this is the most interesting game over the weekend that we are going to see. That is East Bengal versus Shillong. Now Shillong have won both their outings. They are looking really good at the moment. Meanwhile, East Bengal decent, but the loss in the derby is what is hitting them hard and has put their team, including the coach, under immense pressure. Chiranjit, I begin with you. East Bengal playing at home, hosting Shillong. How is it going to be?
Yeah, Shillong doesn't have a reputation of always pissing in East Bengal's parade, right? So they have, gotten some really big victories against them. In fact, I would say the most famous victories that Shillong Lajong have ever, had in their history has come against East Bengal. So here you have, a Shillong Lajong team which is boosted by back-to-back 2 wins.
Yeah.
And they're coming into this game. And East Bengal have played 2 matches, both of them at Salt Lake Stadium. So you can more or less call both home games. They got drawn by Aizawl FC with that late resurgence, and they got had by Mohun Bagan in the derby. So here you have Shillong Lajong coming in with a confidence-wise upper hand, but don't underestimate East Bengal under pressure, because they have done some crazy things under pressure. The players start thinking about whether they're gonna be released or not, as Willis Plaza is thinking right now. Coaches start thinking about their job as thinking that they're desperate and they go at it. They give everything to producing a result. This is happening at Barasat. So the crowd will be much closer to the stadium. We're going to have a full house again, and it's going to be really intimidating for Shillong Lajong to produce the kind of performance they have been so far. So and also this is first away game from Shillong Lajong. I think both of their wins are at home. Yeah. So this is going to be very interesting to see. I think both teams will go for a win here, no matter what happens.
Kevin, your favorite team is involved, playing their first away match against East Bengal.
Yeah, confidence is there, obviously, but the pressure has been actually felt by East Bengal here more than Shillong Lajong. Shillong Lajong have already proven a point that with a new set of players, I think they can continue with the same kind of performance. It's going to be interesting looking at Kinowaki playing in the opposite direction of the field. Khalid Jamil obviously is mounting pressure on himself by this not being able to get a win in the first 2 games, and obviously losing out on the derby. So this is a chance for him to show why he is brought into the team before he can be thought about. Could have been a better option than Khalid Jamil. He has to pull up his socks and try every means to get this big victory that he would want to against Aizawl. I think that was an even result. But against Shillong Lajong, it's not going to be easy, because this team, this young side, is not the one who's going to be backing out. even if it's 2-0 down at half time, they will come back. They will hit back. And Khalid Jamil knows that very well. He's seen them last season as well. So for me, in Shillong Lajong, it's fine if you go ahead and taking a hit on this game. But coming out of the comfort zone and getting to the one of the title contenders and is able to score a couple of goals against this team, even though the result might not be favorable, it's going to be big for this side confidence.
Okay.
It's easy to look at it as in East Bengal wins, but it's Shillong Lajong. These guys never say die, even if it's half time or is the full time. They play the same way, and it's going to be a one hell of a match.
Okay. Chiranjit, you expecting goals, or is it going to be one-sided affair?
Yeah, I think it could be a 2-1 victory for East Bengal.
Okay. Well, fair enough. And we have covered almost all the matches that we have to talk about in detail. There are 3 games remaining which we are going to run through with our score lines. Now, the other match is going to happen in I-League, which will take place on Sunday, is between Mohun Bagan and Churchill Brothers. Now, Churchill Brothers lost their opening game against Shillong. Mohun Bagan on the other side look like a stronger team, and they have finally found their winning ways. So, Chiranjit, your goal scoring prediction for this game?
Yeah, well, of course, I think Mohun Bagan have the upper hand. Churchill Brothers have been given the shittiest starting matches. This is the second match. First one was away at Shillong Lajong. Second one is away to Mohun Bagan. They're not having a very favorable fixture.
Yeah.
Mohun Bagan looks like should be a 2-0 or a 2-1 kind of win.
Okay. Kevin, your goals prediction?
Yeah, no doubt. Easy win for Mohun Bagan unless Churchill Brothers comes up with something that they did last season as well.
Okay.
They don't have Derek Pereira this time.
Yeah. Nor do they have the players.
Yeah.
Well, the other two...
Yeah, it's difficult. I think Mohun Bagan takes the win easily. And if there's any sort of consolation, maybe out of the 3 goals that Mohun Bagan score, we see 1 goal from Churchill Brothers.
Okay. Then now there are 2 games in ISL that we didn't look at. The match that's going to happen tomorrow, it's between FC Goa and Kerala Blasters. Now this also looks interesting, but FC Goa would want to get back, stronger and get back with their win. There after a very long time, we'll see Goa here after that 4-3, goal score reigning in when they played against Bengaluru. But here they play against Kerala Blasters, who managed to score for the first time in their last outing. But I think Goa looks here as a stronger team, right? Chiranjit, your goals prediction for the scoreline?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here.
Okay.
Kerala Blasters are improving. They seem to be finding their wings and midfield right. And slowly they're working out their attacks. So it will be a bit of an improvement. But Goa will be good as well. So I'll call it a draw for now.
Okay. Kevin?
I think it's no chance for Kerala Blasters here. One change that Rene already made, getting Bobadov dropped to the midfield. It has worked to some extent, but I don't see them standing any chance against FC Goa.
Okay. Fair enough. Now the other match that's going to take place, it's a Sunday. We have 2 ISL games, right? So the other match we spoke about, which is Mumbai versus Chennaiyin, which is taking place at 8 p.m. The 5:30 p.m. kickoff is between Jamshedpur and FC Pune City. Now we saw the first game, first home match for Jamshedpur, where we saw the pitch in a very bad condition, and now here they are again, but this time they are with a confidence because they won against Delhi, and here they are playing Pune City. Now, Chiranjit, I start with you. Of course, I want to know your prediction on the scoreline, but also about the pitch conditions, if you can spend a minute on that.
Yeah, well, the pitch conditions are not going to be much better because the Bermuda grass takes a couple of months to grow roots.
Okay.
So I think that's part of the reason that they have moved 2 of their February home games to Odisha.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good move. You don't want people to be injured all the time.
Yeah.
But here everybody will have to play a little bit cautiously and not do themselves in for the rest of the season. So I think overall Jamshedpur will play a cagey game. Nobody can play to their 100% abilities on this pitch, but they will put on a show and probably win 1-0 or something.
Okay. Kevin, Jamshedpur, are you favouring Jamshedpur as well?
Pune City do look a bit of a better side compared to Jamshedpur. Although Jamshedpur has gotten that win they were wanting for so long.
Yeah.
They've got the campaign kicked off, I would say, with that win. But Pune City, playing more games and they're doing this better and better. I think they will take this one. Might not be an easy one to predict, but it might be just one goal to either side. Not sure which, but it's going to be tight.
Okay, fair enough. Now that all of that brings us to the end of today's show. Hope you enjoyed this. We managed to cover all the games for you, and a great weekend. Another weekend of footballing action ahead of us. Hope you enjoy your weekend and come back to us next week. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, then please do the honors. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get updates of our new episode. Also, let us know what you think about these matches on our comment sections below. You can also talk to us directly on Twitter if you want to know more about MPL. You can talk to Chiranjit. He's on Twitter as Chiranjit Oja. Kevin is on Twitter as Boza_Kevin. I'm on Twitter as Matthew94. Follow the TFG football Twitter handle for all the updates on Indian football. You can also read up on all these stories on our website, thefangarage.com. Have a great day, guys, and as I said, enjoy your weekend and come back to us. Cheers.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started ATKT.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through ATKT.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. ATKT.in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.